Okay, it's time for our weekly indoor growing update. Let me turn around and see what's on the seed rack behind. So I've got a tray, and the little cherry tomatoes are coming up, and some of the slicers are just starting to pop up. Over here we've got some onions coming up. Here's our artichokes. So I thought we were just gonna have 5 seeds germinate, but 7 of the 8 of them germinated. So I'm not unhappy about that. That's pretty great. Now we've got down here we've got cabbage, pak choy, and broccoli. And if you look at them, they look very similar. That's why it's really important to label. I know this from not labeling in the past, thinking I'll remember. No, you gotta label. My bag of onions is getting quite tall. It's not time to transplant them yet, but a couple weeks. And here's my home indoor peas. You'll notice there's a big difference between these peas and the peas that I show you when I go into the school. I don't have fungus gnats here, and I think the fungus gnats did a number on the peas at school. This has not been planted again. So what happened? This was carrots, and they had germinated and were coming up beautifully. My 2 granddaughters did play in this a little bit, but still we had half of them coming up nicely. I found a teeny tiny slug in here with a carrot attached to it, because I was wondering what, I didn't know if the little girls were coming in and picking them once in a while, but I didn't think so, because they're not here usually without supervision. So we just went ahead and took them all out, and this will be replanted. I just have not decided what I want to put in here yet, but this pot came from outdoors, and who knew? I had no clue there was a slug in there, but it demolished the bulk of my carrots. So I'm back at work at school, and I'll show you what we've got going on here. We've got just an awful fungus gnat problem that I'm trying to get rid of. If you see all of the gnats on there, and then if you come in here, I've got 5 more strips. They're just loaded. Some of these I just put on yesterday, so there's not as many on them, but there's still a lot. So I have been watering with hydrogen peroxide, 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 4 parts water, in all of the tubs to kill the larvae. There are way less flies than there had been, so that's good, but there's still quite a few, so I have got work to do still in the fungus gnat. In our peas, so in our peas, the ones that were originally planted, I don't know if this is fungus gnat damage, but they're not doing as well as they had been. They're not as healthy, and some of them are just kind of not growing so much. So I'm not sure if I'm going to end up, once we get rid of the fungus gnats, I'm not sure if I'll end up just replanting some. It just depends on if they perk up and do better, I guess. This pot doesn't drain well. I don't want to transplant this guy because I'm afraid it'll die, but I might just have to take it out. This pot doesn't drain well, the soil stays damp, and this is where the fungus gnats love to be the most. I've got some vinegar with dish soap, and they do go in there to drink and die, so that's good. But our little corn plants, that's just because I should just take them out and actually use this some way a little bit more, you know, productive, but I just haven't had the heart to kill him. We've got 2 ripe tomatoes. I need to get rid of all this old dead stuff or dying stuff. But the tomato is a monster, which needs pruned desperately. And maybe I'll get to it this week. We'll see. And there's another cutting that is well established. Our pepper plant. This one's turning red next. Potato. There's a housefly. What's a housefly doing in here? Go away. Oh, maybe he's on his last leg. Usually they buzz away, so I guess he's dying. Anyways, this little guy is so spindly because it's indoors, but they're growing, so I'm hoping there's good potatoes down there. This one has quite a few tomatoes coming. Now this little citrus tree has a blossom right here, but there were no other blossoms open, so I wasn't able to cross-pollinate it. So, hopefully these two open at the same time, and I'll be able to pollinate it, hopefully. But I just really want this little guy to live and prosper. So we'll see if that happens. And then last but not least in here, I usually don't talk about this one. This is a broccoli. I'm pretty sure it's a broccoli. That has been totally neglected, left outside, watered, not watered, but it's growing. The leaves are edible. We could put those in salad and stuff. I think I'm going to go ahead and give it its pot. It deserves, it's just hung on with so much neglect that it really does deserve to have a pot of its own and not an old water jug. So we'll see, maybe that'll happen. The newest addition down here, which is not completely set up, is this hydroponic tower growing system. There's that piece and this piece to make it higher. However, I haven't been able to figure out how to take this apart. You're supposed to be able to use however tall you want it. Each section comes apart. So we could have it the whole height, but that won't fit. The whole height won't fit in with my grow light. So I'm hoping to have this set up soon. I'm not convinced it's going to work. There's a tube in the top that goes down to the water basin where the water nutrients are, and it's supposed to suck up the water to the top, and then it sprays it down. The water then is supposed to, I guess, land in these little pots, and the roots come down and take in the water. Well, the roots are going to get pretty large. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I'll show you next week where I'm at with that. Not a lot of change this week, but I'm going to be planting a lot of herbs and bringing a lot of herbs in here to grow as we get ready for seed planting for our outdoor gardens. So anyways, that's all I have. So until next time, see ya.